Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Ted.
And I'm Obert.
And welcome any new listeners we may have now. I think we have a few more ever since my appearance on the Kirk Minahan show. So
that's right.
Welcome.
Your rocket-like trajectory into the stars.
Podcast stardom.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
just want to give a quick shout out to any of those new listeners. Hi, guys. Hello.
Old listeners, we don't care about you. But new listeners, welcome.
Yeah. It's always the newest person who gets the apple of our eye.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Yeah. It's not what have you listened to me in the past. It's what have you listened to me recently. You know,
Right.
like they say all the time.
That is a very common saying. Yeah.
I believe it was Einstein.
I'm particularly impressed with the one named Be Persisted, who was like 20 episodes in, like 3 days after the podcast. So hopefully she's made it all the way back to the beginning.
As far as it'll go. It won't go all the way back. If you want our day one archives, email the show and we'll send you the files. But that's the only way to get them. I think you can actually get them from our
Does it not?
Podbean
I
page.
thought it did go all the way back. Does it not? Oh, we're gonna.
I thought we fixed that problem.
I thought we did too. Oh, tell you
Okay.
what. Be persistent. When you get to a point where you stop, just can you shoot us a message?
Well, I think that's when
Yeah.
you have to become a Patreon, and that's where you get all the other episodes. We shouldn't just give them away for free. We should say, if you want to hear them, you have to...
If you want to hear the worst episodes of the show that were ever recorded.
Yeah, you got to kick a little moolah our way.
You want episode 1, do you? Oh, boy.
On microphones made out of garbage cans with string between them.
And they progressively get more expensive the further back you want to go.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't talk about that at all. How was that, Tud? That experience, the whole shindig.
It was very interesting. I've never been in like a professional recording area, I guess.
You mean a different one, outside of ours.
And then our very professional.
Well, I mean, I
setup we have
wouldn't.
here.
I wouldn't mean our setup is very professional, but like they have like a producer booth with like a glass window, and like all the recording stuff is in that room with the producer, and then there's chairs and microphones, and all the podcasting and sound deadening equipment in the room that you recorded in. I was actually really surprised with how close the equipment we actually own is to what they use. Like the headphones I'm using now are the same headphones they use in the studio. So it's very interesting that a lot of it's very interesting how close the worlds are to like being like super professional working for Barstool Sports and being three guys who record randomly in their own homes and drink beer together. It's surprising how small the gap is.
Yeah.
Basically, we're legit, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
as legit of a podcast as it comes. Except for our producer is actually a real participant in the show. I mean, Dave Cullinane is too, but Obert, you're actually like a co-host. Dave is not a co-host.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's that uncommon for people to edit their own podcasts, even at the pro level.
Yeah. And to the small show, Kirk Minahan, I hope it pans out for you. Like,
Yeah. Wonder if they got some new listeners.
yeah, we gave you the rub,
Maybe. I mean, they might be getting more new listeners now because we hadn't mentioned it before until today. So
That is true.
Right.
Yeah, we
What episode number, date? I don't know how they do things over there.
I was on the episode that happened on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and it was titled Giving In.
Giving in.
Giving In.
All right. Well, we'll have to check it out. I knew Chris had a thing, but before we get to Chris's thing, hypothetical question for you. Would you rather, and we don't have to get too deep into this, but would you rather buy a hazy IPA that was brewed a month ago in the store where it was kept room temperature on the shelf, or a hazy IPA, the same exact beer, but 3 months old, kept in refrigeration?
4 weeks ago.
I'm gonna agree with Chris. The month old one
On the shelf.
Yeah.
on the shelf.
But it's close, right?
Normally I go 6 weeks. If it's within 6 weeks, I'm like, okay, this is obviously fresher the better. But if I'm dealing with a grocery store or something like that, who knows? Like but
Right.
normally I'm like, okay, month and a half, that's not too bad.
Can you guarantee that 3-month-old beer has never been warm, or are you just assuming that it's never been warm because it's currently cold?
I guess more the latter, but like, like a lot of times I think places just keep their inventory in, the back cooler area, and like if you go back there to pick it out, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You don't know when you go to the store if it's been cold, if it stays cold.
Yeah, you don't know that beer's
But
life. You can't assume it.
It's true. I feel like if you are a regular at places, though, you kind of have a good idea of how their whole refrigeration system works, though.
True. Did you buy one of these? Did you do this? Is this a real life situation you ran into?
Well, yeah. I mean, we were driving to the Packy, the bottle shop in Kalispell, and they don't keep their beers cold there, which I'm not a big fan of. Like, I think it really degrades the hop flavor of some of these IPAs. If it's a stout, whatever, I don't care. But if it's an IPA, like, I want it to be cold. I'm of the alchemist mindset on this. But for me, I was like, that's about equivalent. Is a 90-day-old beer kept cold, IPA kept cold, versus like a 30-day-old beer that's been on the shelf since they got it in. Like, that's about where I draw the distinction of like, this is worth buying. Now, I did buy a 6-pack of hazy IPAs brewed on 2/16/23. So goes to show you how much I stuck to my limits there.
Are they still good?
It's fine. I mean, it's not fresh. You can definitely tell that it's not like brewed yesterday.
Now, here's a question for you. Going off this, you show up to a bar and you know that there's a keg of a hazy IPA on tap. Obviously, it's been on tap for a month. Let's say it's been on tap for 2 months. Are you still drinking that? Because it's been in a keg, it hasn't been exposed. Versus not drinking that. So it's drinking it or
like a Bud Light or
yeah, that or like all right. So yeah, so say there's a 3-month-old Julius and a brand new on tap within the past 2-week standard run of the mill IPA, like a fresh from Alvarium. What are you doing? Because the 3-month-old beer's never touched air. It's always been cold.
Yeah, but you don't. The tap lines is the big variable there. Like, how clean are the tap lines? We don't know.
True.
We're talking Norwich Bowling Alley.
What if
I've definitely taken the beer that was the furthest from those tap lines.
What if you know that they clean the tap lines every time they put a new beer on tap? So that tap line was clean before the Julius went on, but it hasn't been clean since.
I think they both would be fine. They both would still be like 95% fresh.
So what is the life of a keg? How long is a keg good for?
I think it's about the same, that 3-month threshold, where you're like, okay, now it's starting to degrade more. Obviously, the fresher the better, especially, these, again, I don't think this applies as much to beers that aren't like hazy IPAs, like West Coast style or a single IPA. Yeah, it's some for sure, but I think that the haziness is a lot of the hop particulate which breaks down.
Interesting. I've never experienced this, by the way, so I should fully disclose that it's never a real situation. I've never seen a beer sit on a tap that long at any bar, really.
But how would you know, right? It's not like they say like kegged on, like, tapped on date at the bar.
Yeah, I would say in this situation, it's a bar that you frequent. Like, there's the Hidden Still that's not too far from me that, they're a craft beer bar. And I know generally what's on tap on their blackboard because it's there and we go there.
So they'll do like one keg of it and then rotate it out. So you kind of know, okay, this is a new keg.
Yeah, they have 20 taps and they, once one's gone, they just put something else on it they have. And they keep on rotating it through. So now that we've gone through this hypothetical situation, what did Chris want to talk about?
Oh yeah, right. I was starting to tell the story before podcast. I have a friend at work that is doing something very interesting and a little creepy.
Illegal.
Okay. So here's let's get into it.
Something interesting and creepy. This
and maybe illegal.
Maybe illegal.
All right, so the person in general, the person in question, is a fan of the Dune series, the book Dune, right? Written by Frank Herbert, right? So apparently he filled me in on this backstory because I have not read the Dune series. I've heard good things, have not read it. But apparently there's a few readings of Frank Herbert reading like chapters or excerpts from the Dune books throughout the series, but there's never a full recording of him reading the entire book or the entire series. So what he's doing, what he had done is he's using an AI and he fed them these readings of Frank Herbert, and then the AI is able to mimic his voice to what he says is perfectly, and then is feeding them chapters of the Dune book to then put together an entire audiobook read by this AI that sounds exactly like the author. So, number one, insane. like that technology is this way now, right?
Yeah.
Is Frank Herbert dead? Because I don't know this.
Yes,
okay.
he is. Yes, because that was the other
That
thing.
makes a difference. Good question.
Yeah, Frank, he is dead. He is dead. So there will never be an original. So number one, insane, kind of cool. Also, I have some side project ideas.
A little creepy.
Yeah, a little creepy. Yes. Now, mind you, for all the Frank Herbert estate people out there, he's not planning on using this for anything other than his own personal library because he loves the series. But is it Frank's voice?
No, it's not Frank's voice. Because I think that this is going to get into a lot of copyright things coming up in a couple of years. Because recently we've seen all like the Drake songs come out where it sounds just like a Drake song, but Drake sued and it gets taken down because it's not a Drake song. It's not his writing. It's not his voice. So no, it can't be his voice. It
sounds like exactly like his voice.
Right, but it's an artificially generated version of his voice. Just because somebody recorded a podcast of like Joe Rogan talking to Steve Jobs. It's not Steve Jobs' voice or Joe Rogan's voice that did it. It's a computer that's doing it. So no.
So I'm gonna.
But it sounds identical to him.
Yes.
I guess I know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out where Todd's coming from here because, hypothetical situation. Let's say I feed this AI, 220 episodes of a different shit podcast.
Okay.
And I use it to generate Todd's voice. Not Todd's voice.
Right.
And then I leave interesting voicemails for Todd's wife's phone using this voice. Is that Todd's voice or not? Because
you're still gonna get in trouble.
His wife. Yeah.
It's not.
Honey, it wasn't me. It was an AI.
See, this is how the world's going to be in a couple years, where we're never going to know if somebody actually said something or not. It's going to be too close to call, but it is ultimately spoofing and lying. It's not really my voice. I didn't actually say whatever Obert may make me say on my wife's voicemail. Just like Mr. Fred Herbert. Frank Herbert. Just like Frank Herbert did not read all of the Dune series before he died.
Out loud.
Yeah, he probably read it while he was writing it, but not to a microphone.
I mean, you don't know if he read it out loud. I mean, to himself.
It's true.
That's true.
But okay, so that question's settled. We've decided it's not his voice.
All right. So no matter
what was the next part?
No, that was it. That was it. I just thought it was really cool. It was really.
Oh, I thought it was going to be is it the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? I thought there was more ethical questions coming up.
Oh no, the efficacy of it was covered with is it right or is it wrong? I guess
Well, we didn't really answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't give you an answer on if it's right or wrong.
All right. Okay. I thought legality versus ethics. Sure. All right. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's? I mean, okay. Let's admit it's a little creepy, right?
Yeah. Just the fact that the technology exists.
Yeah.
For sure.
That for sure. Now, also, who wants a bunch of books read by Beer Dad? Because I'm thinking, listen, I'm gonna do this.
We can make it happen.
This is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, does it do the character voices? That's what I want to know.
So I don't believe it does the character voices, but it will do raise at suspenseful there is tone changes. So for effect. So I don't know how.
So when there's a question mark, he raises his voice, kind of like I'm Ron Burgundy.
Exactly, precisely. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I have not played around with it myself. This was just something he told me, and I was like, that is number one, a lot of commitment. I forgot the name of the AI. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I was like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah. Okay. So right or wrong?
I don't think
definitely blurry. Definitely not a 0 or a 10 on this scale. Right?
On a scale of 0 to 5.
I would say that as long as he's not profiting off it, there's probably nothing wrong with it. because then
Right.
you get into the situation where, like, had he not have died, I don't know when he died, would he have read all the Dune series aloud and recorded it?
Would this super fan have bought, given money to him
Right.
if he had?
Because I
that's a
kind
good
of think
question.
about like when like Nirvana, when Kurt Cobain shot himself. They ended up releasing
Allegedly.
songs. Yes, allegedly. When Kurt Cobain died, they still released songs of his years later using mashed up vocals from other songs that he had done to finish up some of the lyrics that he hadn't quite completed. So
It's basically the same idea.
it is
Yeah.
exactly the same idea, except for it was Kurt Cobain's estate. Other musicians have done that as well. Versus Frank Herbert's estate is not doing this. It's some random Chris coworker that's doing it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but to your point though, even if he were to put it up for profit, it's not Frank Herbert.
Yeah, I think he would get sued by the estate of.
But he would
Mr.
win
Herbert.
because it's not Frank Herbert, right?
No, I think that he would be using his likeness, and so he'd have to pay the kind of like Vanilla Ice and using Under Pressure with David Bowie and Queen, where he had to give up all that royalty because he didn't pay for the royalty to use their song.
I think we're definitely not experts in copyright or
I mean,
intellectual property law, but even if he released his own audiobook or his own version with his voice of a different author's book, like, you can't just do that.
True.
Right? Like,
I think the publishing company would have something to say about that.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. The better question would be, okay, what if he had Frank Herbert read the book that he wrote? The voice
There you go.
that sounded like, whoever you wanted it to sound like,
Yeah.
reading your own book.
There we go.
That's I think a little bit harder to resolve in court,
As long as you're like read by an AI generated Frank Herbert,
Then you're okay.
you're good. So there you go. Official legal advice, everybody.
Yep. No, the opposite of that.
Hashtag not lawyers.
Are we not allowed to? We're not allowed to say that. It's not our fault if they listen to us.
As the youths would say on Reddit, NAL.
Not a lawyer.
Yes.
Got it. Nailed it in one. Got it in one.
Well, this has definitely all been within 100% of what we normally talk about here on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All this AI conversation is making me thirsty.
Yeah, all this talking about other dead people reading is making me want a beer.
Same though.
So who's going first?
I'll go first.
All right, what do you got for us this week, Ted?
Now that I'm thinking about it though, I think we need to feed this thing a couple DAWFs and have ChatGPT write an episode.
We need to have an AI make a podcast for us.
Yes. This episode brought to you by the future. Ted brought it like a mixed 4-pack over.
This could be an interesting episode.
Yeah. Ted's
okay.
going hard in the paint.
So I've got to do a few things on this episode. First of all, my keg of my beer that I brewed is finally on tap in my house. So I wanted to bring a little bit of that to taste that and kind of give a little bit of review of that. But this past weekend, as we discussed in the last podcast, was the Rising Pint, and I learned that at the end of the beer fest, a lot of people walk around that have podcasts and they ask breweries to give them beer to drink on the podcast. So I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know this was a thing.
That's me.
Yeah, so I was wearing our wonderful Drinking Alone with Friends shirts that we wore down in Asheville to the Rising Pint. So I walked up to 12%, had a little bit of a conversation with the guys, and they gave me a 4-pack to bring home of different beers.
Dang. Look at that. Shoot.
So I said I would drink one on the podcast. I'd give them a shout out. I'd tag them, obviously. I'm going to hold through to that. So I wanted to show what the 4-pack was. I'm going to have you guys pick a beer out of this 4-pack. But I did want to give them a shout out. So thank you 12% for hooking me up. Next year I think I need to bring like a little soft rolly cooler with me because I'm going to stock up next year. You better believe. And in September at the Southington Beer Festival, I'm definitely going to stock up. So in my mixed 4-pack, I have Watercolors Mango Orange Guava Marshmallow Creamy by Skygazer. I have Fat Orange Cat Baby Kiwis. It's made with Nelson, Rawaka, Moteca, and Nelson, so it's all New Zealand hops. And then I have Whiskers on Kittens, also by Fat Orange Cat, which is a collaboration between them and Von Trapp. And it's a Goza-style ale with Wachua apricot and Australian salt. And I have Abomination Midnight Snack, or Tiramisu Midnight Snack, which is a beer brewed with tiramisu.
Ooh.
Stout with marzipan,
See,
ladyfingers, whipped cream, and coffee and cacao nibs.
So you also, in addition to making us decide on the beer, you're making us decide between different breweries too.
Yes.
It makes it even harder to decide.
I know. I was thinking. I was like, you said the Kiwis, and I was like, oh well, you got to have that when New Tud's on the pod. Like you have to save it, but
It won't be good by then.
yeah, we're gonna have to.
I think-
we're gonna have to have her on soon. But
I think you need to mix all four together and review that.
I'm not going to do
That's,
that.
I think
'cause
what
I'm
needs to happen.
not going to waste 4 beers.
so you.
I think a tiramisu Gosa IPA really would hit the spot.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, man, you've had Skygazer on the pod before, obviously, and you've actually had a different version of watercolors.
Yeah.
So we know they're spectacular. We all know Fat Orange Cat, and then Abomination, of course, is also spectacular. But the second Fat Orange Cat with the Von Trapp, that was enticing to me.
That piqued my interest as well because it seems like a beer we've never reviewed before.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do Whiskers on Kittens as my beer of the week. So first, let me just quickly give a quick rundown of my IPA. It's my first ever IPA that I designed from scratch. It has Centennial, Mosaic, and Citra hops in it. Hang on, Centennial, Amarillo, Mosaic, and Citra hops. It was originally dry hopped with Centennial and Amarillo, and then I added in Mosaic and Citra as the secondary dry hop. As you can see, it is as dank and hazy as you would expect it to be. I don't think the light test is going to work on it.
No. T-Rex, you're 100% safe.
Yeah.
It's like hiding behind a gallon of milk from a T-Rex.
On the nose, extremely tropical. Smells like it's going to be very, very hoppy. I know I put a shit ton of hops in here, so I'm expecting a lot of hop bite on it. Ooh, it is. It's a little bit more bitter than I expected it to be. Definitely on the more bitter side. More like tropical bitter though. I need to figure out. I probably needed to add in one of those like kiwi hops from the baby kiwis to kind of offset that with a little bit more of a like an earthy flavor because it's very tropical bitter, not earthy bitter. And I prefer earthy bitter. Pretty good though. But yeah, this is my second creation. It does not have a name. I just thought I'd bring it on here just to show you guys to kind of prove I can brew a beer from scratch.
Well, that's cool. It sounds like you already are working on your second batch, your improvements.
I am. I have another homebrew competition coming up on July 22nd at Labyrinth. So any listener who wants to come, Labyrinth in Manchester, for their homebrew competition, come on down, come support me, or vote against me.
Is this a straight up homebrew, or is this like they give you the wort and you dress it up again?
They give us the wort and then we dress it up.
Nice.
Don't know what my recipe will be this year, but that's what I'm doing on July 22nd. So
We'll
come on
see
down.
if it involves dried cake.
Yes, I don't think it will this year.
No?
It went over very well, but I can't do the same shtick twice.
Wait a minute.
That's fair.
Is it time to return to
fair.
Bingo Brownie IPA?
I think it might be.
So
Wait, hang on. Untapped, unnamed Tud beer number 1. What are you giving it?
So I think this is probably unnamed Tud beer like 6 at this point, but this is like the first I guess fully from myself. I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I think it's too bitter. I think I kind of screwed up the dry hop. I had a little bit of an issue getting this beer to pour, where I had to like shake the keg a lot to get like there was a hop cake at the bottom, kind of like blocking up my my dip tube. So this was a pain in the ass to get the pour, but overall I like the mouthfeel. I think that was pretty good. I just think that it might be a little too bitter. I think some people are not going to like this beer because it's too bitter.
Would I like this beer?
You would like this beer.
Okay.
It actually might be too bitter for you though too.
Oh, Jesus.
Sounds very bitter.
Sounds like my ex-wife. Am I right?
Billion IBUs.
It's definitely easily over 100. I'm hoping that as I drink the first like couple beers out of it, it'll clean out some of that hop shrub at the bottom and kind of kind of clean out the flavor too. Because I think that's might be what I'm running into a little bit too. So on to Whiskers on Kittens. So just as a refresher, this is the collaboration between Fat Orange Cat and Von Trapp Brewing. Von Trapp's out of Vermont somewhere.
Yeah, it's in it's like right across the street from the Alchemist in Stowe.
Okay. I was gonna say Stowe, but I didn't actually know if I was gonna be right on that. The can is an orange cat in the Swiss Alps with the mountains are made out of cats as well. It's the classic scene from The Sound of Music. It's just all done in cats.
I really appreciate the grassy hill that the cat is on is made of cat fur.
Yep. So it's a pretty cool can. I like it a lot. This is a Goza style ale with Wachua apricot and Austrian salt.
Not Australian.
Not Australian. Brewed at 12%. It's 5% ABV. Let's see what it looks like. So it's poured a little bit darker than my homebrew. Still pretty hazy for being a Goza style ale. A T-Rex is not seeing you in this thing still. It's pretty dark and pretty murky. Head stuck around pretty good. On the nose, I do get a lot of apricot smell. It smells like a apricot sour. I think it might be a little sweet, especially coming from the beer that I just, my own beer to this. I think it's going to be very sweet, but let's try it out. Cheers.
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 So not as sweet as I expected it to be. Definitely a little bit more of a kick in the pants after coming from my bitter beer to this sour beer. It's definitely a lot more sour than it probably is supposed to be. That's why I had to take a few sips there to kind of coat my mouth with this current beer. Lot of apricot flavor. A ton of apricot flavor, and it's probably like, I would say somewhere between Granny Smith apple and Granny Smith apple on the sour scale. For those of you who don't know that, who are new listeners, you got to keep on going if you want to understand that scale. I don't know what Austrian salt is supposed to taste like, but sure, probably tastes like Austrian salt. No, it's pretty good. I think the apricot flavor is really good inside of this Goza style ale. I mean, I think the sea saltness, I guess that's kind of the Austrian salt, but it kind of blends very well with the saltiness of a Goza style. It's not as salty as like the Two Roads Goza that we all know from like years ago, probably the first Goza that we all ever had collectively. It's not as salty as that. It's a little bit more on the sour side, but really crushable. This is probably a great beer to sit outside on like a 85 degrees sunny day where it's a little too hot and you need something to quench your thirst. This is a perfect beer for that.
Would you say that this beer is one of your favorite things?
That's I think it would be somebody's favorite thing, but it's I do like beers on hot days. I do like sour beers on hot days. That's true.
So above Whiskers on Kittens, but below brown paper packages wrapped up in string.
Correct. Correct. Still above wool-covered mittens.
Okay, good to know.
I'm gonna give this a solid 4. Good Goza, very very refreshing. Good beer. I think I've had better Gozas, and I think I've had way worse Gozas. So this is a good one, right in the middle, right down the park. Von Trapp. I like their Pilsner style ales. So another good brewery. One that I haven't been to. One day I'll get up to Stowe and I'll go see that one.
There we go. So when you type Whiskers on Kittens into Untapped, 5 other ones come up before this one, and none of them have can art that comes even close to how good Fat Orange Cats is. So it's really exceptional art. But you, my friend, will be the 38th person to check this beer in.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
hot off the presses.
I mean, it was canned on May 1st.
Yeah, that's a fresh beer, all right.
It's a good beer. 38th person. That's awesome. I have no idea how to rate this. There was a beer festival, drunk people rating it.
So they had it available. I mean, obviously they didn't just bring a can just for you. They
right.
had it. They were pouring it there.
Yeah, they were pouring this at the 12%. They were pouring all 4 of these at the 12% beer project table. And more. Like they pour a ton. I think every brewery they represent pours 2 beers. So it's a lot of beer at that table. It's only 37 people. I'm going to still say 12% has hot pipe. Fat Orange Cat has hot pipe. People are drunk. When you're inebriated, you always give things higher ratings than you would have if you were stone cold sober. I'm going to say it's going to be somewhere around me, probably not over a 4.25, but the way I've been going recently, it probably is like a 4.4. But I'm going to guess 4.12.
No. Again, 37 is pretty low, but a 3.91. So not great. On the board, 0.21 off.
Well, you know,
That's
ultimately, there's only been one check-in on this mystery Tud beer, and it's the 375, so therefore it's a correct one. Good luck.
Unfortunately, we only accept one rating per guest, and
It was my first.
one
It was my first rating. You got to accept the first one.
that's for the jury to decide. And by the jury, I mean me, the whiteboard, the judge, jury, and executioner of this whiteboard. But your pleadings have been accepted by the court. We'll say that. Okay, I'm gonna jump right into my beer. All right, so this week I have a fun-looking can from Mountains Walking. It is their Gallatin Roar.
Ooh.
And the reason I picked it up was because of their style. Something I think I've seen before. Thought it might be a gimmick. I don't know if it's legit, but this is a cold IPA. Don't think I've had a cold IPA before. Not really sure what they are.
Aren't all IPAs cold IPAs?
I don't
think it
don't
means
know.
it's brewed
We'll find
cold.
out. Like a cold brew coffee, but a cold brew beer.
Well, kind of like, you know how when you make like a Pilsner or something like that, like the
Oh, like fermented
cold. Yeah, fermented cold. Sure.
Oh, okay.
I think I
maybe like with a Kvik yeast or something.
yeah, we might have to Google while you drink.
Yeah. I didn't want to look it up because I didn't want to, maybe see an Untappd rating. But very neat. The can is covered in little waves, probably from the Gallatin River. Just covering this can and this ice cold, refreshing looking IPA. 6.5 ABV. Crack it open.
So apparently it's a style of beer invented by Wayfinder Beer in Portland, Oregon. It's become a craze since 2022. I haven't figured out what it is yet.
But
just telling you the background story.
It's a craze.
Yeah. But you're correct. It's cold IPA is an IPA that is brewed with lager yeast at colder temperatures, creating a crisp, drinkable yet ... But it's fermented at a lower temperature.
So it's not a Kvik yeast because Kvik's brewed hot or fermented hot.
Oh, okay. Back in my day, we called these IPLs.
Ooh, oh.
I don't know what the difference between if a cold IPA is actually an ale or if it's a lager.
Literally,
right?
the first cold IPA, the first result versus IPL. We're learning stuff.
I've got it right here. What is the difference between an IPA and an IPL? Or a cold IPA and a cold IPL? At first, the two styles may seem similar.
They do to me.
A lot of people think that a cold IPA is an IPL, but it's not. In my mind, an IPL is like making an IPA into a lager, and that's not what this is. To me, this is taking a West Coast IPA and making it more West Coast by showcasing the hops and having a really crispy grain bill. IPLs are widely recognized.
So to me, that would say that like India Pale Lager would be a lot of hops, but same lager body. No, I don't know. To me, I think it's the same thing. I don't know. Breweries right in Mountains Walking. I need you to tell me why this isn't an IPL.
Yeah, I'm going to keep on reading, so you keep on drinking, and I'll get back to you.
Well, first thing, if any of our fans out there are Tyrannosaurus Rex, you are in for quite a treat with this beer because you could see right through this. There's nothing you can hide at all here. So you can imagine crisp, clear, no haze, just a yellow body that you can see right through. Smells like a West Coast IPA. That similar, more earthy hops aroma. Not a lot of tropical sweetness, juiciness on the nose. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be my favorite beer, to be honest, based on what I'm smelling and the marketing I'm hearing about this beer. I've already decided I don't like it. But nonetheless, a Gallatin Roar cold IPA down the hatch. Cheers, guys.
So this article, this hop culture article, says that that cold IPA is still brewed like a normal IPA and also with ale yeast, but a combination of lager and ale yeast. And an IPL is just brewed with lager yeast.
Okay.
But both underneath international or underneath beer judge certification program fall underneath specialty IPA. So there is no official IPL. So I think, Obert, you're probably right. Like back in our day, and people in the Northeast would know, Jack's Abbey does nothing but lagers, including IPLs. So I bet you that their IPLs are what this company would, or what the West Coast would call a cold IPA, because they're supposed to be a cold IPA is supposed to be just as strong as an IPA, while lagers are obviously supposed to be a little bit like lower ABV content. You're not going to find that at Jack's Abbey. They're all boozy.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's marketing. I think that they realizing that no one wants to buy an indie pale lager, so cold IPA is the way to go. But it's pretty good. To be honest, it's better than I thought it was going to be. So last week I had the Founders All Day, the red IPA, and I kept talking about how crushable it was, right? And I can't help but go back to that beer review while I'm drinking this, because there's a lot of similarities in the fact that, again, crushable, but a lot more flavor in the Gallatin Roar than the All Day Red. It's the lager carbonation, I think, has a big contribution to, like, it's not as bubbly. Think of the carbonation you find in, like, an Oktoberfest or whatever, where it's like a lot of times it's less of the big champagne bubbles in the carbonation, and this is it's not flat, but it is definitely easier to drink because of the lack of carbonation. Strong hop on the tongue. It's well balanced hops. It's not super duper all C's, Cascade, Chinook, Citra hops, but it's not super earthy the other way either. It's a good mix of just like standard run-of-the-mill IPA hop profile. Definitely used a very light malt bill here. You mentioned that when you're reading kind of what it is. Really, all you can taste on this is the hops. You don't get any of that malt. It just basically is just the minimal there to support the beer. It's good. I say crushable in the fact that it's easy to drink, but with how hoppy it is, I think you would have trouble throwing back like a ton of these compared to, a seltzer, a hard seltzer.
What's the ABV again?
6.5. So a little bit of punch there.
Yeah.
Not, I would say average for, an IPA that's just an IPA. In New England style, it would be light. It would be low. But for regular IPA, 6.5 is about where I expected it to clock in. Definitely won't be the last cold IPA I ever drink.
Well, it's a trend that's sweeping the nation.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to the store and be like, oh, tonight I'm really craving a cold IPA. It'll be like, I'll see one and be like, oh, I haven't had this beer before. Let me take it home and try it. I don't think that this Gallatin Roar is entering my rotation as, a go-to 4-pack for me to bring home on a Friday afternoon.
Okay.
That all being said, in line with Tud Unnamed Brew number 7, number 6, whatever, 375. It's good. I always like trying new styles,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you say if like 312 other people had it? What do you think they would rate this cold IPA/IPL? You're not fooling us, beer industry.
I think they went with a 395.
You are closer than Tud.
Okay.
0.09 off, 3.86. So a little bit longer, a little bit
pretty low.
Well, yeah.
I was thinking about guessing the same as Tud, the 3.91, or what Tud's beer was, but coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yep.
Whatever. On the board. Though. But okay, we got a lot to get through tonight. Chris, what do you got for us?
All right, here we go. So I am continuing my tour to Maine. I had a Maine beer last time from my friend Painful Plays, Uncle Rado. I have a second one, and this one I'm excited about. This one is from Fogtown Brewing Company out of Ellsworth, Maine. I've not really heard of this place.
It's because it's so foggy that when you're driving by the highway, the exit sign, you don't even know.
Listen, a T-Rex better not be able to see you. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't think so. So this is called Night Nurse Double Shift. It's an imperial milk stout with coffee and vanilla. It is 9.4% ABV. So you guys went the light clear route, and I went the not that. And I just want to read this because I read this and I was like, it immediately made me go, ooh. I had my mic off. Maine grown organic oats and dark chocolate, dark chocolate malt. Sorry. They put it on 2 different lines, and my brain just can't keep reading. Vanilla beans, organic cacao nibs, and dark roasted beans from Precipice Coffee. So, ooh, sounds delicious. So let's crack this bad boy.
It does sound amazing.
Yeah. So, if I remember correctly, his brother-in-law works for this brewery. So hopefully we can give him the rub. You know, put them on the map.
I've never heard of these guys, and I feel like I've been to Maine to drink beer a lot.
I had not heard of them either. Now, first off, Dark as Night, clearly. We'll do the T-Rex test, but I think we all know.
Living up to the name, yeah.
I think we all know how this is going to go. Oh, yeah. Not even, like, not a doubt in your mind. You are so hidden. You may accidentally bump into the T-Rex on accident. So pouring it, I heard the carbonation, which to me, I normally don't get a ton of carbonation while pouring a stout, so we'll see how that holds up. The head has dissipated pretty quickly. On the nose, I get a lot of the vanilla, because it is a milk stout. It's a milk stout, so we got to keep that in mind as well. But I get a lot of that like vanilla lactose-y sweetness smell. So let's see how Precipice Coffee holds up in the in a beer. Let's find out. Here we go. Head is completely gone. Okay. Oh wow, this is good. This is really good. Wow. So for something that I thought, based on it being a milk stout and the fact that I had vanilla in there, I was expecting very, very sweet. It does have some sweetness in the beginning, but then you do get hit very nicely, and you know, props to them. A lot of times when I'm having some of these stouts, I don't get a lot of coffee, even when they say there's coffee in them. I did take it out early, so it is proper drinking temp for you folks out there. But I'm getting a very nice, like, roasty coffee taste on the back end, and I'm in love with it. It's so good.
Now, you didn't pour it over ice.
Did not pour over ice. No, this is not an iced coffee. This
Would it be better over ice?
This isn't a cold stout.
You sure it's not an iced tea stout?
Maybe it's an iced coffee stout. Yeah. But I'm like some of these breweries that we've not heard of before. You don't know the following, and like I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Having not known anything about them. Like the coffee on the back end is so good. It is very good. I was making jokes about Precipice Coffee coming out, but it really does. It tastes it like it does. It is bitter. So like if you don't like the coffee bitterness, then maybe not for you. But there is some of that sweetness at the beginning. And it just smoothly transitions into this coffee flavor that it leaves you with. And I get some of I get very heavy coffee flavor, which I love. And then some of the roasted malt, the chocolate malts that they're talking about. This beer is very good. I'm Fogtown. Shout out to you. Even though I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with your someone.
Because you have to shout to see the find out where the town is.
Yeah. No, this is
Fogtown. Where are you?
Yeah.
Fogtown.
So this is very good. Plus 9.4%. Don't taste it at all. Wow.
I gotta say, and I want to know if sorry to interject here, Chris, but I gotta jump in. I want to know if our listeners agree with this statement or not. But to me, Chris, you are the best one on this podcast of making me jealous, making me want to drink whatever beer you have. Because when you have a good beer, the way you describe how enjoyable it is, I'm like, I immediately want to pour my beer down the drain and have some of whatever Chris is drinking. Because what you were saying about like tasting the coffee, I'm like, I am here for that. Even though I was drinking this IPA, I'm like, let me have some of Chris's beer right now.
I'm telling you, like, it's very good. I'm very good, and I'm having not heard of these folks outside of here's a 4-pack, here's a mixed 4-pack that I have. No, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Geez.
I'm trying to figure out where the hell this brewery is. Where the hell is
Ellsworth, Maine? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that part of Maine. The one thing I'll say about it, and it was something I was a little worried about when I poured it, is
it's near Bar Harbor.
Okay, some baba. The one thing about it that I will say is like it doesn't necessarily it's not as smooth as other stouts that I've had. Like it's not abrasive, so to say, but like it definitely doesn't have like the velvety like mouthfeel that other stouts have.
Okay, I was wondering about that because you just said that you couldn't really tell the 9%. So I was wondering how you kind of marry those two. Mm-hmm. Like, does it taste boozy?
No,
but it doesn't taste smooth.
Well, okay, so I mean like when I say smooth, I mean like, you know how sometimes you drink and you're drinking a stout and like the consistency is like motor oil. Like
Yeah.
that's what I mean by smooth. Like that.
The viscosity.
There you go. There you go. Versus like this tastes like it is carbonated. You know, it tastes like it has a lot of the bubbles.
beer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not bad. It definitely is not a bad thing. It probably would be better if it were, I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is, but smooth. If you had less Pringles on your tongue when you drink it.
So they've got the same overcarbonation problem that like Barreled Souls has then.
Yes, comparable, yes. Seemingly from the one beer that I've had.
Right.
From the one beer I've had, but yes, comparable.
Todd, have you ever, like, when you took a Barreled Souls beer out of your fridge to let it warm up, like, just cracked it open right then and leave it, like, on the bottle, leave it in the bottle, cap off on the counter for, like, 30, 40 minutes?
No, I've never thought about it until right now when you said it, but that's probably a good idea because like when you get their beer on tap out of their tap room, it doesn't come out that bubbly. So maybe I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the trick. Like when you go to let it warm up, also let it like aerate a little bit. Let that CO2 release.
So it's like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like let it breathe, you know? It could be, I mean, wine's fermented too. So it's a similar idea. Maybe that's what Barreled Souls needs. Just let it breathe.
That's not a bad idea. There you go.
Well, I know you have a lot of them, so
Yeah, you must have
true.
two identical bottles you can drink like back to back.
That's true. I will have to try this.
yeah.
So I'm pleasantly surprised. Very happy with this beer. Tastes delicious. That's the only takeaway I'll say from it is the bubbliness, the Pringles. Maybe a tad too Pringly. That being said, and I'm torn on this one because I really do enjoy it. But I think in my heart of hearts, I know it's not quite a 4.5. But I'm gonna give it a 4.25, a strong 4.25. Like I was going back and forth in my head between the two because this is one
4.4 on the new Untapped.
Probably, yeah, 4.4, 4.37, something. That's the super advanced Untapped is a 4.37.
Oh yeah, when you get the 3/8, the 3/8 on the Untapped.
But it's one of the better like coffee beers I've had in a while. Like up there with the Outer Lights and the Ashlons and all that stuff. So it's very good. I'm a fan.
That's high praise.
I'm a fan. What can I say? Maybe it's because I haven't had a good coffee beer in a while.
Well, out of 342 check-ins who drank Night Nurse Double Shift, what would you guess they rated it as?
The most checked in beer tonight.
I know, from the brewery I've heard least about. All right, so I like to think this is Maine. We're talking one of the best beer states in the country. I don't care what any list says. I like to think.
Is that Dora?
What's
Is that
that?
Dora the Explorer?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I was just fidgeting. It was on my desk. I was fidgeting with it.
I won't ask why. But go on.
I was looking down so I don't give anything away, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
It's private. It's private why I have a Dora. Don't ask.
That poor Dora's seen some shit.
She's seen some things. Oh, man.
Oh, Chris, you're so big.
Oh, no. Can you say grande? Oh, man. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Oh. So anyways, I don't think that Untapped is gonna like it quite as much as me. I'm fanboying over it over here. But I think it is deserving of a good rating. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, give me the information. Dialing in the 411.
I can't believe you went back straight faced and did that whole last part of that.
I'm a professional. Kirk Minahan needs me on his show.
Oh shit. You're .09 off. It was 4.02.
Oh, wait, 4.02? Okay.
Yeah.
So we tied.
You tied.
You died.
2 points on the board.
2 points on the board.
Holy shit. Yeah, 4.02.
Oh man. Okay, well, Chris, as the co-winner,
Yes.
I'm gonna give you the choice tonight. Do you want to do handles or
Whatever the other one is.
play a game?
Okay, play a game.
You actually have a handle this week, though.
I know, but now I have one next time.
Everybody knows that you should be playing the new Zelda game. Like, this isn't news.
It won't be news.
We're using it up on him right now. Yeah,
It won't
the
be
handle
news a
for all of
couple-
us is the new Zelda game.
It won't.
Play Zelda.
Well, okay, that's unofficial handle. So I'm still going to be playing Zelda 2 weeks from now.
I guess this is an AI themed episode because I wanted to pit Chris up against ChatGPT
Oh, snap.
in a test of knowledge
Oh, God.
and creativity in two of his favorite things. And that's beer and Pokemon.
Oh, Jesus.
Dora the
Okay.
Explorer and Pokemon was what I was going to say.
So I asked ChatGPT which Pokemon inspires which beer. So basically, I give you a Pokemon, you need to give me a beer. And we'll see who does a better job of pairing a beer to certain Pokemon,
Okay.
you or the machine.
Oh, geez. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
was there any other rules other than what you just stated? Like, was there an extensive knowledge of... Never mind. I don't want it to be ruined. I don't... Listen.
I fed ChatGPT 219 episodes of a podcast to train it on beer knowledge.
Okay.
No, and for a bonus round, I went the other way. I gave it a beer and had it tell me a Pokemon. So
I feel like that
let's-
would be interesting. Okay. All right. I want to... Okay. All right.
yeah, so let's get into it because some of these, I mean, ChatGPT, you'll find out can talk the talk, but can it walk the walk? I want to know.
I know. I'm curious the depth of their both beer and Pokemon knowledge.
Yeah, me too. So that's why I did this, and I want to see because I know Chris. If there's one thing Chris knows more about than a computer, it's beer and Pokemon, right? So I want to see how he can do this.
I mean, we had to use the computer to look up what a cold IPA was, so maybe not.
It's true.
That's true. The computer feeds my brain. The brain feeds the computer.
And the beer feeds the human.
Ooh, oh shit, but not the computer.
Beer will kill the computer.
So this was the prompt I used on ChatGPT. I told it I want to play a game where I come up with a Pokemon and ChatGPT tells me a beer that reminds me of the Pokemon. Okay.
Okay.
First Pokemon I started off with was Hitmonchan. So what is a beer that reminds you of Hitmonchan?
Hitmonchan.
I feel like I have to give a guess on this one too. After Chris,
Yeah, I think I don't want to exclude Ted from this too. I mean, clearly this is a game focused on Chris's Pokemon knowledge, but
All right.
where
I got my.
where Ted can join in, I want to hear it too.
All right.
So,
I got the left-hand milk stout.
I'm gonna say Sapporo. I think ChatGPT went a little bit Asian on this one.
Oh, I didn't even think about going Asian-y.
Well, most Pokemon are Asian, but I guess Hitmonchan is from Jackie Chan, right? So that's where the Sapporo comes from.
Yep.
Where does the left-hand milk stout come? What's that all about?
Hitmonchan's a punchy boy. I was trying to.
Is he a left? And he's a lefty.
I mean, probably. He's a punchy. I was trying to think.
Ambipunstrous.
I was trying to think of a beer that referred to fists and or hand was the only thing that came to mind. So.
Yeah, there we go. I like it. Okay, so this is what ChatGPT said. It said, Hitmonchan is a fighting type Pokemon known for its swift punches and agility. For Hitmonchan, I would suggest a beer with a similarly punchy and crisp flavor profile, such as an American Pale Ale. APAs typically have a strong hot presence that can provide a sharp, bitter bite, which I think could match the swift and precise punches of Hitmonchan. Some good examples would include the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Dale's Pale Ale, or Zombie Dust.
I feel like ChatGPT is going to kick my ass. But now I know the level of thought he's putting behind this.
Right. I mean, he was just like, how about pale ales? Like, you know,
true.
You came up with a real beer.
Well, I mean, he
I
listed
think you
3.
both. It's true. It's true.
He went above and beyond. Good play, ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay. Next Pokemon, Muck.
Snake venom. That's what I'm going with.
I'm gonna say it's very thick and slimy. I'm going to go thick. So I'm going to say stout, like a milk stout. I'm going to go left-handed milk stout on this one. I'm going to take Chris's answer from last time.
Okay, what is snake venom? I'm not familiar with that
Snake venom is the strongest beer in the world. Or at least it was at one point.
one. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, where it's like 51% alcohol.
67.5% alcohol.
Oh my God.
So it's by
I like that.
Brewmeister, brew something. It's only brewed in Germany.
But like
so
the umlauts over the U.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hear what ChatGPT has to say. It says that for the Pokemon Muck, I would suggest a beer that has a strong, pungent aroma, just like the Pokemon itself. Muck is a poison-type Pokemon that emits a foul stench, so I think a beer with a strong and funky aroma would be a good match. One style of beer that comes to mind is a Belgian Saison. These beers often have a unique blend of fruity, spicy, and earthy flavors, and their yeasty aroma can sometimes be described as funky or even barnyard-like. The Saison DuPont is a classic example of a style with a distinctive aroma that may remind you of the stinky yet lovable Muck. I think you both win this round.
Yeah, I think ChatGPT was wrong on that one.
Yeah.
I was definitely like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Saison, so I'm like, but I don't know, Muck. I was like poison. I didn't think about the smell. I didn't think about the smell. But.
Now, to illustrate the point, I asked it then. I said, if it reminds you of Muck, what beer reminds you of Grimer? And then it came up with like a Russian Imperial Stout by the North Coast.
Oh yeah.
Or Yeti Imperial Stout. And then I said like, hey, why are your answers for Grimer and Muck so different? And he said, yeah, you were right. Muck isn't really a Belgian stout. So he's okay. Right. So knowing all of that, I went with one of Chris's family's favorite Pokemons, and that is Charizard.
Ooh. Oh man.
I have two.
I'm trying to think of something that's spicy. I can only think of one, but I know ChatGPT's not going to get. It's not going to be the same one.
Well, maybe that's your advantage.
Maybe it's very true. Very true. So I was trying to think as like something that is strong and packs some heat because that's what Charizard is. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is from Fat Orange Cat Jalapeno Jack.
That's the beer I was thinking of too.
Yeah, that's the only one I could. I was trying to think of something else with like some kind of spice in it.
Fire Coral by Tox.
Yep. Yeah. Something like that's true. I don't know if I had. No, did you send me one? I can't remember if I had that one or not.
Your mom brought you one. You had it on the podcast.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
What a good co-host. He even knows who got you the beer.
I know, right? Look at that. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with Jalapeno Jack. That was the first one that came to mind.
That was the one I was thinking of too. I'm like, whatever the jalapeno beer from FOC is.
Yeah.
So I don't think ChatGPT is going to know that particular beer. So I think it's going to go a little bit. I think it's going to go a little bit off the wall. I think it's either going to do really strong and bitey, something with like a lot of bitters and super strong. So maybe like a double West Coast style IPA. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to say Imperial Red because it's red. Okay. It's a red type Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Imperial high ABV would also pack a punch.
Yeah, I like that.
I can't think of any good Imperial Reds off the top of my head.
I'll go with Kawato by Labyrinth.
Okay. See, this is where it's fair to say now, I think we could assume that we know more about beer than ChatGPT because we are all like, ChatGPT would never get those. Right. Would never guess those ones, right?
Right.
And Tud, you were right on the money because this is I'm going to read the response to you. That Charizard is another fire-type Pokemon that has become an iconic symbol of the Pokemon franchise. It is known for its fearsome appearance, its ability to breathe fire, and its formidable power in battle. To pair with the power and intensity of Charizard, I would recommend a beer that is also known for its bold and strong character, such as a double IPA.
There you go.
Some good example of double IPAs, Pliny the Elder, Hop Slam, or Double Jack by Firestone Walker.
There you go. I did think of Firestone Walker because they have the Leo versus Ursus, but like that's that whole series. But I'm like, well, that's lion and bear. That's that's not
yeah,
dragon.
Fighting animals.
Yeah, fighting it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and this is the bonus one before we go on to the reverse.
Okay.
This is what I said. I wanted to really push this. This is why it's a bonus round. Okay. This is I told it I'm going to give you an obscure Pokemon. I want you to give me obscure beer.
Okay.
Okay.
All
so
right.
you might not know this one, Todd, but again, it's part of the game. I said Arctovish.
Hang on.
Jesus.
How do you spell this?
ARCTOVISH.
What the fuck kind of Pokemon is this?
All right. Hold on. Shoot.
It's a water type.
I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of like a good like collaboration beer. Because Arctivish, like all those fossils in Gen 8, like Gen 8 fossils are two different fossils fused together. Like it's like a fish and a dragon or something. They're very weird.
Do you know the typing of Arctivish?
Is it water dragon?
Ice water.
Ice water. Oh, it is ice water. Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
I've got my guess.
Ice water. Damn, I am at a loss right now. I can't think of anything. Something obscure.
You can always say the server's too busy right now. Ask again later.
is that one he gave a lot?
No, but I'm giving you the out. What's your answer, Ted?
I'm gonna go ice beer. I'm gonna specifically go Eisenbach.
Oh,
I like that one.
Okay, that's good.
Ice and water. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of Narwhal from Sierra Nevada.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But this is what GPT said, that Arctivish is a unique ice water type Pokemon. It has a distinctive appearance with a fish-like body and a head that resembles a block of ice. To pair with Arctivish, I would recommend a beer that also has unique and distinctive flavor profile, such as a Gosa.
Okay.
Gosa is a type of German sour beer that's brewed with coriander and salt, giving it a slightly tart and salty flavor. The tartness and briny flavor of Gosa can complement the icy and aquatic nature of Arctivish, and the addition of coriander can add a touch of complexity to the pairing. Some good examples of Gosa that would pair well with Arctivish include the Westbrook Gosa by Westbrook Brewing, the Gosa by Lost Nation Brewing, or Sea Quench Ale by Dogfish Head.
Okay.
I think it beat Chris, that's for sure, on that one. But I think Ted and I beat ChatGPT that round with the Narwhal and the Icebach.
I think Icebach is definitely obscure though. Like Narwhal too. But I like that.
I thought for sure that was going to be what it would say, because like nobody talks about ice beers ever. That's very obscure.
Yeah. So you guys ready for the reverse?
Yes.
We give it a beer, and ChatGPT gives us the Pokemon.
I got to pull up a list of Pokemon. Hang on.
Let's see if ChatGPT is one of the 37 other people that drank Tud's beer. Okay, first one I came up with was Ghost in the Machine Double IPA by Parrish.
All right, I am going to guess. I'm assuming all Pokemon are in play.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I didn't tell ChatGPT to limit the results to certain generations.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I am going to say that it is Aegislash.
Ooh, I like Aegislash.
I like Aegislash too.
I'm gonna go with either. I don't know how to pronounce this Pokemon's name, but I'm gonna take a guess at it. Rotom.
Rotom's a good guess.
Rotom or Sableye. But I'm gonna
Rotom is probably right.
Yeah.
I'll go with Rotom.
That's a good guess.
And Chris, why is Rotom such a good guess? You got to tell the audience.
Right. So Rotom in the games, Rotom number one often will power up many different things in the games, like your Pokedex and your bicycle in Sword and Shield. Not only that, but Rotom also has 6 different forms. So depending on what typing you want your Rotom, he could be a lawnmower or a refrigerator or a fan or a couple. I can't remember the rest of them, but yeah. So Rotom is probably what ChatGPT says.
It's the best answer. What Chris thinks.
It's better than my guess, which was Aegislash. So.
Well, ChatGPT says Gengar, because Gengar is a ghost poison type Pokemon known for its mischievous and ghostly nature.
No.
But just like the beer's name suggests, Gengar is associated with the supernatural and has the ability to disappear and haunt its opponents. The name has an enigmatic and mysterious quality to it, much like Gengar's presence in the Pokemon world. Both Gengar and the beer have a strong and potent character that can catch you off guard with their intensity.
I literally typed in ghost machine Pokemon.
No.
And that's how I came up with Rotom.
No, Rotom is correct.
Okay, you ready for the next beer?
Mm-hmm.
Celebration from Sierra Nevada.
Celebi. Just by name.
I'm going to say I really want. At first, I was going to say Chansey because I feel like Chansey's a happy Pokemon, but I'm going to go Jigglypuff. It's a singer. I think that'll work out pretty well for me.
ChatGPT said for celebration, reminds me of the Pokemon Decidueye. Decidueye is a grass ghost-type Pokemon known for its elegance and sharpshooting skills. It possesses a unique ability to fire arrows silently from the shadows, much like the flavor and aroma of Celebration that can hit you with a burst of hoppy goodness. The beer's name, Celebration, evokes a sense of festivity and excitement, which aligns with Decidueye's graceful and captivating nature. Both Decidueye and the beer have a balance of intensity and finesse that makes them stand out in their respective domains.
I disagree with ChatGPT on this one.
I think it's a little bit of bullshit there,
Yeah.
to be honest. Yeah.
I've never even heard of the Pokemon, so
Both
sure.
of your answers were pretty good.
Mine was just by name, yeah. But yeah, ChatGPT, that was BS. That one I don't like.
Okay, last one, Bourbon County Stout.
I'm going with because it is one of the OG releases, like, you know, year after year releases, like just one that everybody loves year after year. It's strong, right? It's always very strong, always a fan favorite. I'm going to say it's Mewtwo.
I like that answer. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite answers so far ChatGPT has had for this reverse game. The I give you a beer, you give me a Pokemon. This one is my favorite so far.
Okay.
So this one I feel like would be a really good answer for Muck. But I don't think ChatGPT reused the same Pokemon. So I'm gonna say Grimmsnarl because it's a dark Pokemon, but it's also fairy. You know, fairies are kind of things people seek out. So people do seek out Bourbon County. So I'm gonna say Grimmsnarl.
Spinda. No, it's just a bunch of different patterns and stuff.
Well, so ChatGPT came up with the answer of Tyranitar.
Okay, dark type pseudo legend.
It's Tyranitar is a powerful rock dark type Pokemon known for its immense strength and intimidating presence. It has a rugged and rocky exterior, much like the robust and bold character of Bourbon County Stout. The beer is aged in blah 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 blah, evokes images of strength and depth, similar to Tyranitar's imposing stature and its ability to cause geological upheavals. Both Tyranitar and Bourbon County Stout command attention and leave a lasting impression with their powerful and intense qualities.
That is a good one.
It's pretty good.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So were there any other beers that I should try from tonight?
All right. Can we? I want to see, because I thought for sure you were going to throw Pikachu in there somewhere.
Okay. So you want me to type in Pikachu?
And like, I don't know, because like I know what my answer would be, but it's not for like any good reason. So, well, no, it is a good reason, but it's not based on the fact that it's an electric mouse type Pokemon.
I would guess Julius would be.
Oh, see
what it would guess.
See, I was gonna say something like Bud Light, like because it's the main.
There's a lot better ones out there, but if you only know one, this is the one you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the first thing that came to my mind too.
Yeah.
But for an electric rat, I think like Sam Summer might be my guess. Might be my pairing. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. What he would pair with Pikachu.
I'm gonna say it's gonna say New England IPA, most popular style.
No, it says that it would suggest a vibrant, refreshing, and beer with wide appeal, much like Pikachu itself. For Pikachu, I'd recommend a crisp and effervescent beer like a wheat beer or a Hefeweizen. These beers are often known for their light and refreshing character, with flavors that can range from fruity to slightly spicy. These are popular choices among a wide range of beer enthusiasts, just like Pikachu is a popular choice among Pokemon fans of all ages. Like a Franziskaner, a Paulaner, or Schneider Weiss. These beers offer a delightful balance of flavors and a lively effervescence that can mirror Pikachu's energetic and cheerful demeanor.
I mean, I guess if you're thinking worldwide, that counts. I mean, that's, Germany's a massive beer drinking company, massive beer drinking country, and that's their beer style. So
I think we're better at coming up with the Pokemon, but ChatGPT's better at coming up with the logic for why its is better. You know what I mean? Like it's a better bullshit artist when it's like, oh no, you mean a Paulaner Hefeweizen, right? No, I think I don't know about Bud Light other than the fact that it's just the most popular. But I liked our other answers too.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We should close it out. I think we should close it out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all for listening. We'll thank the breweries who provided today's beers. I will thank Fat Orange Cat for their Whiskers on Kittens, and I will also thank 12% for providing me the mixed 4-pack at the Rising Pint this past Saturday.
I would like to thank Painful Plays and Fogtown Brewing for their very delicious Night Nurse double shift.
I want to thank Mountains Walking for their Gallatin Roar and introducing me to the Cold IPA.
Please make sure you head over to social media and follow us everywhere at DAWF Podcast. Also, make sure you follow the email at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to join the live conversation, head over to Discord and join the conversation with a whole bunch of our fans over there. And if you want to support the podcast monetarily, head over to Patreon, and for as little money as you want to give or as much money as you want to give us, you can do that, and you get some bonus episodes of the podcast over on patreon.com. Also, if you want to help out and you don't want to give us any money, feel free to head over to your favorite podcast app and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Or if you know somebody who's also a beer enthusiast or likes to just laugh, tell them about this podcast. Both you guys, I'm sure, will be very happy with it, and then maybe they'll tell more people, and that really is the best way to spread the word of the podcast. And with that, thank you for listening. My name's Todd.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends. So, ChatGPT would pair Whiskers on Kittens with Meow Stick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have guessed Meow Lift.
It's, yeah, Meow. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It says the Ghost style often has a tart and slightly salty taste, which can be seen as a reflection of Meowstick's psychic abilities and its mysterious demeanor. I'm going to do, how about Gallatin Roar Cold IPA? And if it doesn't come back with a Gyarados, man, I don't know what's wrong with this stupid program.
What's a water ice Pokemon?
Lapras.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Instead, it comes up with Arcanine. I think it really missed the mark here. This is the cold IPA style, typically showcases hop-forward flavors with a crispy, refreshing character. Resonates with Arcanine's fiery nature. I don't know. There's so many better Pokemon.